What's going on, everybody? Welcome in the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman, and welcome in as a part of our weekly live show. We go live every Wednesday, breaking down the latest around your favorite football team. But speaking about your favorite football team, if you guys love the Minnesota Vikings, give me a skull down below as we let the comment section build up here. Shout out to Caleb Hammer, CJ NFL in the chat. United saying, do the Vikings play today? No, they do not, but we do have the London game this weekend, which is going to be a ton of fun. We're going to be live actually an hour before kickoff, so 7:30 a.m. Central Time. It's going to be an early morning, but I'm super excited to just hang out with you guys, and hopefully the Vikes move to 5-0 on the season. But shout out to Jace, Josh O'Neal, the Purple Filth, Z Cool. What up, Z? How you doing? United Mexican States in the building. JJRR in the house as well, saying SKOL. Same with Tom Lyles and Forrest Dahlman. Tom Lyles saying, I hate Rodgers. Yeah. Rodgers is it's going to be a fun matchup this week. It's kind of cool how the NFL set up the schedule where we go get to beat the Green Bay Packers, division rival, and then we're going to go to London, beat former Packer Aaron Rodgers. Jay saying, did you already get the winter white jerseys? I do not have the winter white jerseys. I did not end up getting one. Maybe I should. Maybe we'll see. We'll see. Galopsy saying, any thoughts on trade deadline targets? Yeah, we're actually going to have a whole segment today talking about 5 all-in players the Vikings could trade for. So we'll get into that here in a sec. So stay tuned for that if you're looking at guys that they could go all in for. I know a lot of Vikings fans have been talking about like Dexter Lawrence, Jeffrey Simmons. And listen, I would love those guys on this football team. I just don't think the Giants are going to move off Dexter Lawrence. But I do think Jeffrey Simmons could potentially be on the market. As Race saying, Race chilling in Charleston's listening to the man. Shout out to you, Race. I appreciate you. But you guys let me know who you got this weekend. Vikings versus the Jets. Give me a V for the Vikes or give me a J for the Jets. I think this is going to be a beatdown. Vegas has the spread at 2.5, 3 in favor of the Vikings. I still think that's Vegas not really maybe seeing around the corner of how good this Vikings team truly is and also how bad this Jets team truly is. I don't think this is a good football team that we will be playing this weekend. And, I think the spread should be 5.5, 6, if not 7. But the fact that it's 3 is a little, I kind of got my eyebrows raised at that a little bit. But I still think the Vikings are going to roll. I got the final score being 31-6. I was about to do 34-3. I really do think it's going to be a beatdown in London this weekend. I just love everything the Vikings have been doing. Hey, Zeus saying, Sam, no lazy turnovers are near red zone. Yeah, for sure. For sure. You're good. You don't need to worry about it in the live chat. Just clogs it up. Rob Simpy saying, oh, that's tough outtake, the ugly stepsister to the Giants or the Vikings. Shout out to you, Rob Simpy. Welcome in the building. Caleb saying, JJ going for 500 yards, 9 touchdowns, and 300 rushing yards this weekend. So Justin Jefferson, you're saying, is going to have the best performance of all time by an NFL player. I would love to see that. Mickey saying V for the Vikes. Jesus saying Vikings 25, Jets 19. I'll be shocked if it's a one-score game. I'll be honest with you guys. I think this is a complete mismatch for the Vikings. I don't think the Jets can be able to move the ball. I don't think their defense is as good as, it was presented before the season. So I'll be typing my Vs, no doubt about it. But, quickly before we dive into more of the show, I do want to tell you guys about today's sponsor, and that is Game Time. If you guys download the Game Time app, use promo code ChatSports. We'll hook you guys up with $20 off your first purchase. That's promo code ChatSports. When you download the Game Time app, terms apply, first purchase only. But if you guys plug in that promo code, you guys will get $20 off. Now, Game Time has a really cool new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. I love the views from your seat feature as it gets you a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you even buy the ticket to whatever event it may be. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. One more time, download the Game Time app, create an account, use code ChatSports for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download the Game Time today. What time is it? It's game time. Let's kick into this question here. Sam Darnold is a top blank quarterback in the NFL as it stands right now. Very curious to see what you guys have to say. If it's just off this year, he's a top 3 quarterback. But I think now for the rest of the season, I'd probably say he's a top 12. Top 12 quarterback. Jace, are you giving anything away today? We are not. We're saving it all for this Sunday versus the New York Jets. Rob Simpy. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up icon. Appreciate you. Jalalsby saying 10-ish. United saying 3. Mark saying 2. Caleb saying top 1. Love it. Mangala in the building as well. Shout out to you. Caleb saying he's the best QB for the first 4, and he's going to win MVP and comeback player of the year. I've actually heard that Darnold isn't eligible to win comeback player of the year because he didn't play enough this past season, or like he wasn't hurt, like technically because he was benched and didn't play enough. He's not eligible for the award, but not really too sure about that. But yeah, I was reading something that maybe he might not be eligible, but the MVP, he'll be fully eligible to win that, which would be hilarious. Like, could you imagine if this year, like, the top storyline is Sam Darnold wins MVP and he stops Mahomes from three-peating? Like, like, how funny would that be? But Patrick Lane saying Sam needs to protect the ball better. I hear you. He's had a couple what the F turnovers, but again, like, every quarterback has had those moments. But Simpy saying top 10. Handcraft saying he can win MVP and should if he keeps playing this way. Yeah, I mean, if he ends the season, like right now he's on pace for 47 touchdowns, 13 picks. If that's how he ends the season, he should win MVP. It would be criminal if he didn't. Jay saying, I think TJ's coming back this week. We do have good news on that front around TJ Hockenson, but I still don't think he is going to be ready to go this week. Golosby saying not taking any away from his unreal start. Just want to see a big moment for him. I agree. Like Darnold's one of those guys since how poorly he started the year. You're going to need to see something in a big primetime game, big postseason game where he really is putting this team on his back, where we're talking about him potentially being a top 7, top 6 guy in the league. But Matt saying Darnold's going to change the way teams approach hiring for the quarterback position. I agree. I think great point. Great point. SKOL TV, what's up? Sawyer Olson saying, what if the Vikings pull an Eagles, start 9-0, then lose all their other games? I would be a very disappointed Vikings fan if that's the case, man. Don't even put that out there, Sawyer. Don't even put that out there. But I'll ask you guys this. So DraftKings right now has the Vikings over-under as 11.5 for the rest of the season. Just curious. Over-under, 11.5 wins for the Vikings. You guys let me know down below in the live chat. Jay saying one of the flying to London. Not sure. I'm assuming Thursday, however. I'm assuming Thursday. Z Cool going over. United going over. Roger going over. Keen saying Vikes are a 12-win team. Well, you'll be taking the over to that. Roger saying Friday, I think. Purple and Gold Bar saying let's frickin' go. Shout out to you, Purple. What up? Mickey saying no. Matt saying no. Purple and Gold saying another week, another easy win. No easy wins in the NFL, but, you know, the Jets is definitely the easiest game that, you know, since the Giants that the Vikings have played. Diego saying 14 wins a minimum. That's where I stand. I go 14-3 for the Vikings rest of the way. You want to know my one loss on this Viking schedule, and you guys might get pissed at me for saying this? I think it's actually going to be the Lions after, or not the Lions, the Rams after the Lions game. I think if I had to call it right now, the Vikings will be 6-0. Heading into Thursday night football, short week, traveling across the country to Los Angeles. I think the Rams that's going to be a tough game because they'll also be getting more healthy. They'll get Nakua, cut back. So that's the one trap game I see here. Yeah. Purple and Gold saying over. These Vikings remind me of the 98 with the dynamic play style. That's awesome. I hope so. Is that a short week? Yes, that is. That is a short week. That's cold. That's cold, Simpy. Dope. Hey, Zeus saying 11 wins sounds good. No dominant team in NFL. Yeah, I agree. I mean, Kansas City's still ripping off wins. Z Cool. Pace will be back this week. We'll get you guys that update here in a second. But we will be getting into a mailbag in about 30, 45 minutes or so. So if you guys want to get your question up on screen, ask me anything around your favorite football team. Use hashtag Vikings in the live chat. Or if you guys super chat, it actually makes our job a whole lot easier. Just helps us pull these questions, you know, in an easier way. So if you guys could super chat, help support the show, I would really appreciate it. Or also just use hashtag Vikings. But I want to get you guys involved, get your questions out there. What are your concerns, guys you want to trade for, you know, injury news, whatever it may be around the Minnesota Vikings. You guys just send in a question in the live chat or super chat. That would be a great way, maybe we could get a little wild here on this Wednesday live show. But coming up, we do have some great news. We're on Ivan Pace, TJ Hockenson, and actually Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, is he hurt? We'll talk about it. And then we're also going to be getting into some trade targets, top 5 players that I could see this team trading for. And then also my biggest concern heading into this Jets game, because I do think this is going to be a beatdown. But if there's one thing that scares me, I'll tell you guys that here in a second. If you guys are ready to go, hit that thumbs up icon. We're at 19 likes right now. Once we get to 20 likes, we'll start today's show. So only one more like, and we'll get after it. Shout out to Diego. Sippy saying low about my favorite team. LOL, that's hilarious. Yeah, no. Giants were definitely the easiest game for the Vikings so far. Even though, I'll say this, the Giants are the only team to have a lead on the Minnesota Vikings this season. For the first 3 minutes of the year, the Vikings have not trailed since that moment. As Z Cool getting a fantastic question in there in the form of a super chat, $10. Shout out to you, man. Saying, when do you predict we will throw KOC the biggest extension the NFL has ever seen? So I was thinking about this, Z. I don't know if they would do this during the year, even though I think they should. But if I was Kevin O'Connell and how hot this football team has been, I would wait until after the year. Like, I already think he has earned an extension. Like, even if this team fizzles out, they go 9-8, 10-7, lose in the first round. It's just a very mediocre finish to the season. Like, he's still going to get extended. But let's just say KO, he waits the whole season. Vikings go make the NFC Championship game. Kevin O'Connell could hit up the Vikings front office and be like, hey, I deserve a 5-10-year extension. So, very, very curious to see how the Vikings are going to play this. But, KO will get extended. Like, I am not worried about that at all. Z Cool also saying the culture he has created, the team he has created, he deserves it. No doubt. I mean, he deserves to get extended. He deserves to be this coach for the foreseeable future. And plus, like, it's so funny thinking about this Vikings team now moving forward. It's like, even if everything else shits the bed, like everything else goes to hell, injuries, quarterback goes down, all this. Like, the fact that you have Kevin O'Connell and his identity and his culture in this organization, like, it is truly, truly special. But more super chats flowing in. My man Roger Bong sending in 5 saying, I think the Vikes are undefeated in London. Is that the case? Roger, let me look this up. I believe they are. Because they beat the Browns a while ago, Raj. Let me see this. How many times have the Vikings played in London? What is their record? So the Vikings, they are 3-0 in London. So they played the Steelers September 29th, 2023. They won 34-27. That was in Wembley Stadium. Then in 2017, they beat the Cleveland Browns 33-16. That was in Twickenham Stadium. And then in 2022, the Saints game, this was when the Saints missed like a 60-yarder to tie it up at the end. The Vikings ended up winning that ball game 28-25, and that was in Tottenham Stadium where they are playing this weekend. So, yes, they are undefeated, Raj. Yeah, nice little insight there, Roger. I appreciate you. But then we also have Skolger coming in with a $20 super chat. Shout out to you, man. Just saying, Skol, I appreciate you supporting the show. As always, shout out to you, man. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Same with Rogers. But yeah, Z Cool, Roger Bong, Skolger, I appreciate you guys. But I do want to get you guys this great news that we do have from an injury standpoint as Ivan Pace, TJ Hockenson. It looks like they should be joining this football team very, very soon. Caleb saying, no, I don't think we should. Talking about training for Devontae Adams. Yeah, I'll talk about that in the mailbag, but I just think it would frankly be idiotic for the Vikings to give up already the limited draft capital they have for a receiver who's fantastic, no doubt about it. But, are we going to have Jordan Addison be our wide receiver 3? No. Like, it's just not going to happen. We already have a great 2. In my opinion, Addison and Devontae Adams at this point in their careers, like, yes, Adams is a little better, but I'd rather give Addison those wide receiver 2 reps and just have him keep on developing next to Justin Jefferson. Diego, yeah, what's up with Pace? He's playing this weekend. Don't want to spoil it too much, but we did get a report that he'll be out there. But I say we dive into it. We're going to get into the great news right about now. Shout out to everybody in the building. Remember, hit that thumbs up icon. Let's talk about it. The Minnesota Vikings just got some great news heading into their Week 5 matchup versus the New York Jets, as it is on the injury front, as maybe TJ Hockenson, Ivan Pace, will they be back for this Vikings team this weekend? And also Aaron Rodgers. He seems a little banged up. We'll get you guys that information. And then also second half of today's show, stay tuned for this. I'm going to be doing a breakdown on the Brian Flores defense, as I think he is adding a new wrinkle that all Vikings fans need to know about. So you guys just wait for that here on the second half of today's show. But I want to get your guys' thoughts on this. I was naming random NFL players with a couple of buddies of mine late last night, and I was just curious. Name a random Vikings player for me. So I'm not talking to Adrian Petersons. I'm not talking to Randy Mosses. I want you guys to get weird here. I'll start off with mine. I'll go Sidney Rice and that 1,300-yard season he had with Favre in 09. But you guys name a random Vikings player for me down below. So the first dose of great news the Vikings got is that Ivan Pace Jr. will be back this Sunday. This was coming in from Darren Wolfson, which is obviously fantastic news. His Pace was, UDFA last season. His rookie year went fantastic, and he was off to a great start to this NFL season before he did get hurt. Now, we got reports before the year that he was going to be wearing the green dot, calling plays for this defense, but then they did end up giving those responsibilities to Blake Cashman, which I actually thought was the right call. Don't let Pace think. Just let him kind of be that wrecking ball that he has always been. But against the Giants, he had 6 tackles, a TFL. Then against the Niners, he had 9 tackles and 1.5 TFLs. But, how this linebacker group shakes up, I was a little nervous about this group heading into the year, but you kind of have a 3-headed monster now. Blake Cashman's been great. Ivan Pace has been great. And then actually shout out to Kamu Grugier-Hill, as he's been fantastic. He's had an interception in each of the last 2 games. He did fill in for Ivan Pace, and he has been fantastic in coverage. Now, yes, he is not the same run defender that Ivan Pace is, as Ivan Pace is truly a wrecking ball. And, why I really don't believe the Jets will be able to move the ball consistently on Sunday is, they're not going to be able to run the football. Big reason for that is number 0 being back in the lineup, but Grugier-Hill has been fantastic. Now, I am hoping, and again, this is the fan side coming out of me and the person side coming out of me, I hope he's able to get back on that football field just a little bit, as he has truly been, fantastic for this Vikings team. Grugier-Hill has just been awesome. But, more on this Vikings defense, I truly do believe that this team, maybe I undervalued their depth going into the year. This is a very deep defense. Yes, they don't have the top-tier blue-chip players on that side of the football. They don't have a Sauce Gardner. They don't have a Quinnen Williams. Do they have a T.J. Watt, Myles Garrett? No, but they got a solid 10 to 11, 12 guys who feel comfortable in the system, and they all play their best ball in what Flores likes to do. A guy like Van Ginkel, you put him on any other team and any other system in the league, he's not nearly as valuable than what he is with what Brian Flores tries to get done. Now, we do have some more injury news on TJ Hockenson. Everybody clap it up. We might be getting a top 5 tight end in the National Football League back here shortly. But Ahmad Hicks tweeted this out today saying TJ Hockenson's practice window will open Friday, per Coach Kevin O'Connell. Says he would not be given day-to-day updates on his game status, but he will travel to London. I thought there was no chance Hawk was going to make that trip across the pond. Just why risk it? Why even put him on a plane? Just have him kind of be on ice. But I still think he is going to return Week 7 against the Lions. I still think there is less than 1% chance he's out there against the Jets this Sunday. But, man, once you get him back, you just add that final infinity stone to the weapons the Vikings have with Jones, Jefferson, Addison. Then you get Hawk back in there, plus Darrisaw, how great this offensive line's playing. This offense is going to be humming for the rest of the year. But some more great injury news. I guess I titled this a double dose of great news. Maybe it should have been a triple dose of great news. Aaron Rodgers. Apparently he's a little banged up heading into this matchup, as he says Aaron Rodgers says his knee is banged up and swollen. Now, this is really key for what the Vikings like to do on defense. With how, Brian Flores, obviously, it's your line 7, 8, 9 guys up on the line of scrimmage. And then you can allow, the quarterback, they have to process post-snap. But with a guy like Rodgers, who is already limited in his mobility, if he is even more banged up because of his knee, this could be huge for this football team this weekend. Now, I don't think this is going to be something where Rodgers is at 70-80% playing. Like, I bet you he's probably at 95%. But even that little 5% difference, that could be the difference on Sunday between a touchdown drive, between a field goal drive, like just those little things. And plus, like, with the way the Jets offense operates, they just want to get the ball to two guys. It's Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall. And if they're not able to get the run game going, which they haven't this season, is why Breece Hall only has 56 carries, 174 yards, only averaging 3.1 yards per tote. Like, he hasn't been good this year. And a guy like Garrett Wilson, he hasn't been good this year as well. Only 20 receptions, 191 yards, and a touchdown. He's not even their leading receiver. It's actually Allen Lazard, former Rodgers teammate here. But, you know, the thing is with Raj, like, if he is, like, in terms of his mobility, like, it's just 5% less, it is a huge advantage for this Vikings defense. So, you know, that's great news there. But I did see these PFF rankings for the Vikings team as a whole. Wanted to share them with you guys. But overall, the Vikings do rank 7th. Offense, they're ranking 4th. Passing, 12th. Pass blocking a little lower than I thought. I thought they should have been higher than this. But tied for 15th. Receiving, great, as we probably would have expected heading into year 4th. Run blocking, 4th, which is great to see. Defense, a little lower than I thought. 13th. Pass rush at 29th. That was way lower than I thought it was. But I think maybe they're not, you know, or they're not thinking about, like, the twist where, you know, Brian Flores opens up just free passing lanes for these edge rushers. But run defense 2nd, tackling 13th. And, you know, it just always gets me back to this. This team is only going to get better throughout the year. Like, they are a process-oriented team. When the Vikings hired Kevin O'Connell, I remember watching that press conference and thinking, how many times did he say it's about the process? It's not about the results. Obviously, you want to go out there and win every game, but we're trying to get better every day, and that leads to them getting better every week, and that leads to them getting better every month. So what you saw from this Vikings team in September, where they go 4-0, beat the Texans, Niners, Packers, I guarantee you, on a month-to-month basis, you'll see just slight increases in their overall process and just their results, you know, month-to-month. But I'll ask you guys this, over-under for me. Right now, the bookmakers out west have this as the over-under for the Vikings for the rest of the season. 11.5 wins. You guys let me know your thoughts. Give me an O for over or give me a U for under. Make this the pinned comment on today's show. So you guys let me know your thoughts on the Vikings winning more or less than 11.5 wins. Now, coming up next, you guys are not going to want to miss this because I think Brian Flores is doing something defensively that no other team in the National Football League is doing. I'll tell you guys about that here in a sec. But before I do so, I do want to give a massive shout out to today's presenting sponsor, and that is Game Time. If you guys download the app, create an account, and use code ChatSports, you guys will get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Now, Game Time has an awesome new feature called Game Time Picks. It makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Now, my favorite view of the Game Time app is the Views from Your Seat feature, where they allow you to get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you even buy. So check it out. Download the Game Time app today and use promo code ChatSports for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, one more time, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It is game time. All right, let's talk about the Flores defense. So this is something I've noticed on film over the last couple of weeks, watching this football team. So I have noticed that Flores uses linebackers and safeties as almost screen setters in the NFL. What do I mean by this? So normally teams, they run just a simple twist concept where the outside backer, the defensive lineman, they twist, try to cause some confusion amongst the offensive line. The Vikings are doing that, but with a genius new wrinkle. So this is Ivan Pace. Packers are backed up on third and long, 3rd and 6 right here. So this is Josh Metellus at the linebacker position. He's clearly coming. They showed blitz early. Offensive line knows that. But what they don't know is that Metellus is actually trying to open up a rushing lane for a guy like Patrick Jones coming on the inside. Now we get to this next clip. Right here, Josh Metellus literally put his head down and just sprinted right into the Packers' left guard and running back, and that allowed Patrick Jones, who's on the left side of the circle, to kind of sneak back in and kind of curve around and have a free shot at Jordan Love. There's also another example later on in the game where Blake Cashman was lined up on the outside. He came in, he already knocked over 2 offensive linemen, and then Patrick Jones just came in free. It is genius, and I don't think a lot of other teams are doing this just yet, but I fully expect this is going to be the new thing. Like, I promise you, everybody watching right now, you'll see NBC, you'll see these guys on ESPN. They're going to start talking about this shortly because Flores is truly, truly unique. And now we have another example. 3rd and long, or if you want to go back to that real quick, 3rd and long, you got all these guys lined up on the scrimmage, edge, D-tackle, linebacker, edge right here. They're all lined up. Bread and butter, 3rd and 7, ball snapped. What do you know? It's a completely different look. The 2 linebackers, they bail out. Vikings just get to a simple cover 2 look. And this play is actually when Kamu Grugier-Hill right here, number 54, he ends up intercepting this ball about 15 yards past the sticks because we get to this, and I'll kind of get out of the way here. So this guy right here, it was clearly a distraction route. Like, he's trying to pull him all the way across. Grugier-Hill, number 54. The Packers are hoping he fouls this guy so it opens up the little in-breaking route to take a shot. Kamu peeled off that. He came back on the wide receiver, was able to make a hell of a play on a football. Now, I want to show you guys this. This is Flores being a psychopath here. This is just fantastic. So, look at the line of scrimmage right now. I want everybody to take a second, whatever you're doing, just take a break. You are the quarterback. I want you to imagine you have 8 guys lined up on a line of scrimmage. There's also another play in this game where you had 9 guys lined up. I want you to imagine you're Jordan Love right now. It's a 3rd and 2. You got a running back to the left of you. And all you see is 8 Vikings lined up. And you know already from watching film that week that they could bring all of them. They could bring 3 of them. You truly have no idea of what, they're going to be in. Right here, if I was Jordan Love, I'd be like, all right, you got 2 deep safeties. You got 8 guys lined up. I'm assuming they're going to run a cover 2 shell or some type of look here. And, then Jordan Love can, break it down post-snap. What did the Vikings end up doing? They ended up only bringing 4 guys on this, and it allowed Jonathan Grenard to just be one-on-one with the left tackle. And I want to really point this out right here. This left guard for the Packers, he was so confused this entire game, actually. I really dove into the film and watched this guy over and over again. He had a terrible day. Whoever the left guard was, he was awful. But he is so confused right here where the Vikings had 3 guys right here. The center, guard, and right tackle are all focused on them. And then this left guard is so confused. He should be helping out on Grenard right here. But still, the Vikings only brought 4, and you allowed Jonathan Grenard to go no chip, no double teams, one-on-one with the left tackle, and he was able to get some pressure, and the Vikings were able to, force a big-time 3rd down stop backed up in the Packers' territory. But all that to get to this. And I hate saying this because I actually thought there was no way before the season started. If the Vikings defense keeps up this success and they just maintain it throughout the rest of the season where they're top 5 in, damn near every statistical category, Brian Flores will not be on this football team next year. Obviously I don't know his personal ambitions, like if he wants to be a head coach, but obviously money's better. You can have more control. So I could very well see him wanting to be a head coach. But again, I don't know. But with how unique this Vikings defense is, man, like I fully do expect him to be out of Minnesota next season, and he deserves it. He's the best defensive coordinator in the league, and it's truly special what he's doing. But hey, I'm gonna show him some love to wrap up today's show by typing SKOL Flow down below in the comment section. I'm hoping he's going to be a Viking for the next, 3-4 years, but man, he deserves a promotion. I think he's going to get it. But if you guys want to show Brian Flores some love, give me a SKOL Flow down below. And also, I'll be breaking down more of the Vikings defense on Twitter. So if you guys want to give me a follow over there, that's a handle at Pat Sieps. See you guys next time. As always, SKOL Vikes. All right, you guys let me know. Over under 11.5 wins for this Vikings team this season. You guys let me know. It was Rocky saying SKOL Flow. Shout out to you. Appreciate you, man. Yeah, that was good. Shout out to you guys. Josh O'Neal, M. Mac, SKOL Flow coming in from him. Josh O'Neal saying, oh, SKOL. United saying over. And Max saying Vikings going to eat on the AFC South over. Yeah, I mean, you already beat the Texans. You're expecting to get wins over the Jags, Titans, Colts. So hopefully it's a 4-0 sweep. Patrick going 15-2. Love the optimism. Cade Clark going SKOL, baby. Shout out to you. Eric Mott saying no. Tom Lyle saying Flores needs to stay in Minnesota forever. Shout out to you, man. Shout out to you. Flores lawsuit might be the best thing ever for the Vikings. Yeah, I mean, if I want to be a selfish Vikings fan, and kind of am, obviously, but I just don't think he's going to get a chance, bro. I just don't think he's going to get a chance. We'll talk about it off air. Yeah. It's a little something with the owners. A little systemic issue that the NFL has. If you, picking up what I'm putting down, sexy. But hey, we got Mailbag coming up here in a little bit. If you guys got a question for me, want to talk about this Vikings football team, use hashtag Vikings or Super Chat to get a question up on the show. I'd appreciate it if you guys could. It helps us, push this mailbag along a little faster. So if you guys want to ask anything around this Vikings football team, trade rumors, injury news, what do I think about this matchup on Sunday, literally whatever it is around this Vikings football team, just use hashtag Vikings in the live chat. Or if you guys want to contribute to the show, like already Z Cool, Roger Bong, and Skolger have, sending a super chat, get your questions up on screen. Like my man Z Cool sent in an unbelievable question earlier, and I love it. I'm excited to talk about that on the mailbag. But Roger saying, what are the chances Flo is back next season? That's a great question from my man Roger Bong. I appreciate you. Roger, definitely include that on the mailbag. Shout out to you. Yeah, tricky with Flo lawsuit against the league. No doubt, man. It's one of those things where I, wish the Vikings, let's just say he does get, a head coaching job. Normally head coaches, they make a whole lot more than, coordinators in the league. I wonder if Flores would maybe come to the Vikings and be like, hey, I got offered $10 million a year to be the head coach for, Carolina Panthers, whatever terrible team. I wonder if he would come to the Vikings, be like, $5 million a year. I'll stay with you guys. I would prefer to be a D coordinator. Would the Vikings make him the highest paid D coordinator or coordinator in the league is pretty much my question. Remember last year with the Lions, everybody was like, oh, Ben Johnson is for sure gone. I thought Ben Johnson was for sure gone. But he felt like he was building something special there in Detroit, and he ended up staying. And maybe the same thing could happen with Flores. So I'll wait and see. Shout out to Purple and Gold Bars. We'll use your question up on the mailbag as well. Rocky, another good question. Appreciate you. Yeah, no, you're good. Shout out to Tex on the 1s and 2s, baby. Tex will be back this weekend, Sunday morning. Gotta watch the Vikes tank. The Tex flexes will be out in full effect on Sunday morning at 7:30 in the morning. Tex is gonna be an early one, man. It's gonna be an early one. Alrighty, but I do want to talk about some trade targets with you guys. Because I don't think Kwesi's going to be super aggressive at the deadline. But then again, we saw him trade for TJ Hockenson when I thought there was no chance in the world. I don't know. I'm thinking Kwesi might do something crazy at this year's trade deadline. As SKOL TV saying Jeffrey Simmons. Please, oh please. Please, oh please, man. I hope so, man. Eric Mott saying espresso shots instead of tequila. We might have to do something fun like that. Yeah, we'll think of something. Maybe a little early morning mimosas or something. We could have something fun. We got a bunch of donuts or something in the morning. I'll see. Maybe I'll swing by Dunkin' and get Tex and I a little 12-pack of donuts, get some coffee or something, just help us wake up. But we'll see. But I do want to talk about some trade targets and also some top matchups to watch in this game. So, Peter, we're the only ones that can stop a Chiefs three-peat. Guys, I need everybody right now to take a moment before we dive into the segment. Everybody, put yourself. February 9th is the Super Bowl, I believe. Yeah, it's February 9th. You're waking up that morning, and Super Bowl normally starts at 5. You wake up. Probably didn't sleep the night before because the Vikes are playing in the Super Bowl. You're super excited. Could you imagine if it's Sam Darnold versus Patrick Mahomes? I couldn't for the three-peat too. Like Sam Darnold. Hold on. Somebody saying Jeffrey Simmons is hurt. Oh, he did get hurt. Wait, I think he's good though. Oh, no, yeah, he's good. He said he'll be ready to go against the Colts. Jeffrey Simmons is not hurt. Fake news. He did hurt his UCL, but he said he'll be ready to go. But Mac, I appreciate you, getting the chat and saying it. Hey, Roger, we might have to, man. we might have to. Kene Wangu went to the Saints, really? The GOAT. Yeah, no. He said he'll be ready to go after their bye week next week, so yeah, we'll be straight. But let's dive into it. 5 trade targets for the Vikings coming your way right now. Coming up on today's edition of Vikings Now by Chat Sports, I got 5 big-time trade targets for our Minnesota Vikings. As after the 4-0 start, and with this smirk on Kwesi's face, I don't know what it is about this photo. I just always feel like he's up to something. Maybe the Vikings could go all in and trade for, potentially 5 of the better players in the NFL. I'll tell you guys those 5 names here in a second, but also later on today's show with this matchup against the New York Jets. Even though I do think the Vikings should steamroll, I just want to go over some of my top matchups to watch in that game. But before we dive into all that, we're closing in on 34K. And I was trying to think, who is my favorite Vikings player to wear 34 in the history of this franchise? It's got to be Zendejo. Anytime I think about him, I think about me being so furious with his play leading into that Saints playoff game, the Minneapolis Miracle game. And then this dude had one of the best interceptions I've ever seen. Falling back, he was in a deep half. Breeze was trying to take a shot over the top, and Zendejo is backpedaling. He skies up for it. It was just an unbelievable play. So if you guys want more around your Minnesota Vikings, want to help our cause here at Chat Sports, hit that subscribe button for my man Zendejo, and let's dive into some trade targets here. So we got to be talking about the cap space, because if you're trading for a big-time player, an all-in type of move, you got to be able to take on their contract. Well, the Vikings, they got $14.2 million to spend, and you can also restructure some deals if you really need to create more cap space. But let's dive into everybody's number 1 trade target for this football team. And I hate to break it for you guys, but this one's unlikely. But if this would ever have a chance to come to fruition, he would be my number 1 trade target, and that being Dexter Lawrence at still only 26 years old. So what has he done so far this season? Well, he's been probably the best defensive lineman, not even just from the interior, but the best defensive lineman in the NFL this year. 12 tackles, 2 TFLs, 3 sacks. He has been that wrecking ball in the middle of that Giants defensive line. And, if you guys remember week 1, who absolutely game-wrecked that game for the Giants? It was Dexter Lawrence. Like, he was ragdolling Garrett Bradbury and Ed Ingram all day long. And his contract, if the Vikings are trading for this guy, this is a steal of a deal. I will give Joe Shane and the Giants front office credit here. Getting Dexter Lawrence on this contract is fantastic. $14.5 million this year. So the Vikings could easily take that on. 2025, 24.2, 26, 27, 2027, $26 million. I would love this deal for the Minnesota Vikings. I say all that to say this. The Giants aren't trading Dexter Lawrence. I would love to get up on here every single week and be like, the Vikings need to trade for Dexter Lawrence. It's just not going to happen. The Giants are in a spot where they view Dexter Lawrence, Andrew Thomas, Malik Neighbors as they're 3 blue chippers for this team. Very similar to us Vikings fans, view Jefferson, Christian Darrisaw, Kevin O'Connell as kind of our building blocks. They view Dexter Lawrence as that. Maybe the Vikings throw them a first and a third or, some crazy offer, and they have to say yes. But I don't think Kwesi's going to get, a little too aggressive in doing that. But, I would love Dexter Lawrence. Giants aren't trading him, though. But a realistic dream target for our Minnesota Vikings, how about the big fella from Tennessee, Jeffrey Simmons, who is still only 27 years old, and he's off to another great start to the year, man. He is fantastic. He plays with a ton of energy. He's just truly a I don't know what word I'm looking for, Like, yeah, he's a game wrecker, like, no doubt about it, but he just brings energy. Like, contagious energy is what he brings, was what I was trying to say there. But, he's been fantastic to start this season. He's been fantastic for the last 4 years in the NFL. And, in terms of trading for an interior defensive lineman, I think that would be the one spot where the Vikings are a little weak at defensively. Like, I love the linebackers, love the edge, love the corners, love the safeties, but trading for a blue chipper at the D-line spot, that would be a perfect fit. And his contract's not bad. Now, for this year, you would have to rework some deals to make this $21.6 million cap hit work. Same with 25, 26, 27. You guys see the figures up on screen. But again, paying this amount of money for a guy who is truly a top 5 at his position, I'm taking it. And plus, it would add a sense of physicality to that defensive line, which I still feel like the Vikings need, even though they have been very physical this year. But you add Jeffrey Simmons. I mean, that's icing on the cake. So that's why we're going to talk about 3 more names. And we talked about Dexter Lawrence, but with Lawrence being unlikely, Jeffrey Simmons is my official dream trade target. Now, I wouldn't want the Vikings to, go all out and give up a first and like a future third for him, but if you could somehow get him for next year's first and maybe a 5th or something like that, I would do it. Because also, that pick for the Vikings is probably going to be about 25, 26 in this year's upcoming NFL draft. But, the Vikings need a blue chipper on defense. They're a very deep and talented football team, but they don't have a true superstar. Jeffrey Simmons is that. And if the Vikings would trade for him, man, like, this defense would actually have a chance to be one of the best ones of all time. I fully believe that. But talking about another defensive player here, Marshon Lattimore, as this has been a big-time name that has been floated in some big-time rumors over the last couple of years, as the Saints cap space situation is ugly, and they're going to try to move off him just for they can open up some more money on their books next year. But, Lattimore, he has some injury concerns. And you guys see the games played up on screen, like 7 games in 22, 23 only played 10, and even this year he's already been in and out of the lineup due to injuries. But when he is healthy and he is out there, he is one of the better cornerbacks in the league. And you think about that London game a couple years ago, funny enough that the Vikings are heading back to London this week, like, he actually did a good job on Jefferson. I always felt like Lattimore and Jair Alexander are the 2 best corners in terms of guarding Jefferson in the league. But why I say no, this. 14.6 this year, not bad for, a pretty good cornerback. But I'll tell you what, guys, if we trade for Lattimore, it will be really fun this year. But then we're going to talk about him this offseason, and we're going to see that cap hit of $31.4 million. Saints front office, are you kidding me with this? This is a terrible deal. And then 28.6 the year after. So, Lattimore is a great player, but absolutely not. I don't think the Vikings should. So I'm passing on Marshon Lattimore. Great player, just, injury concerns, bad contract. I'm not doing it. But a guy the Vikings could trade for who has, I'm going to call a spade here. Emmanuel Forbes has been awful to start his NFL career. He is already looking like a bust. Like, Emmanuel Forbes is one of those guys where I think if the Vikings were to trade for him, they're viewing him as a project. And maybe it's like a random 6th-round pick, 5th-round pick, where he was a former 1st-round pick just a couple years ago. Maybe you take a chance on him. Very athletic cornerback, very tall. So I could see that maybe the Vikings taking a chance on him. But again, we'll have to wait and see. But the last one on my list is one that I'm going to be asked about. And, it makes sense that the Vikings are playing him this weekend. But I'd probably throw this in the Dexter Lawrence category of no freaking way this is going to happen. But the only way I think he could potentially be available, and I hate wishing injury upon anyone, but let's just say Aaron Rodgers, let's just say the Vikings beat the Jets this weekend and it's a disaster and the, Jets look terrible. And let's just say Rodgers, he gets reported he's out for like 2 to 3 months, or he could be out for the year. Then I could see a fire sale happening for New York because they have really gone all in, and maybe they'll try to, get some of it back with trading this stud. But, there's no doubt Quinnen Williams is, him, Dexter Lawrence, and Jeffrey Simmons are the 3 best interior defensive linemen in the league. I mean, in 2022, from the interior, him getting 12 sacks is unbelievable. And plus, what I like about Quinnen Williams is that, the Jets already have him on the books. Now, yes, his contract is a little bigger than Jeffrey Simmons, especially in 2027. But, I still think Quinnen Williams, like him, even at this price point, is still a good deal. Now, here are the numbers exactly. Like 2025, 21 million, 26 million, and 2027, 30 million. It's not the most team-friendly deal. But again, like if you trade for a blue chipper, I would be all in. But overall, I I want the Vikings to trade for an interior defensive lineman. Not going all in on this, but, I could see the Kwesi getting very, very aggressive. But you guys let me know. I just gave you guys 5 names. You guys just got to give me one. Name a player you want the Vikings to trade for. Drop that name in the comment section. Curious to see what you guys have to say. All right, let's dive into some of the top matchups this Sunday versus the Jets. We're going to start off with this one, Jefferson versus Sauce Gardner. Now, I am hoping that Robert Saleh almost has too much faith in Sauce Gardner, and he says, you know what, Sauce? We trust you this weekend. You go one-on-one with Jefferson all game long. We call this the 18 effect around here. If he's one-on-one, it's simple, guys. You throw him the football. He's getting all the coverage. He's getting the safety help. You throw it to the other guys. It's simple because this man's unguardable, and he's been the best receiver in the National Football League for another year. 20 receptions, 358 yards on the season, found the end zone in every single game so far. So I'm hoping we get to see the gritty this Sunday in London. He's also averaging 17.9 yards per catch this season, which is great for Justin Jefferson. And also that long of 97 yards. That was just sick. But also Jefferson, maybe why they won't be able to move Sauce all around the lot with him is you don't know where he's going to line up. Sauce, are you down to hop in the slot and follow Jefferson there? We'll have to wait and see. He runs out of there 34% of the time. Out wide, 63% of the time. So Jefferson's moving all over the place. But, Sauce is a very good cornerback. I don't want to take anything away from him, but he's just not on the level of Justin Jefferson. I don't think there is a corner in the NFL that you can truly leave one-on-one for the entire game. Maybe a guy like Pat Surtain, but that's just about it. A guy like Sauce, who's unbelievable, top 5 corner, you leave him one-on-one, you will get burned. So Robert Saleh, if you're watching this, Sauce Gardner can't guard Jefferson one-on-one. Come prove me wrong. Make me look like an idiot. I'm hoping the Jets coaching staff decides to do that. But let's get into number 2 here. Quinnen Williams versus the interior offensive line. Now, I am actually concerned about this matchup because Quinnen Williams is a disruptor. He is a game wrecker. And I think when you have a guy who can get pressure from the interior, quarterbacks just don't like pressure at their feet. Normally when that pressure comes from the interior, they're right at their knees. So, Quinnen is definitely a guy where Vikings are going to have to double team him, triple team him, but I liked what they did last week on Kenny Clark. They just chipped a tight end and running back for both tackles on big-time third downs, and then they used the 3 interior offensive linemen just to focus on the 2 interior defensive linemen. So I'm expecting the same this weekend against Williams, but, Ed Ingram's going to have his hands full, and, he has been playing better the last couple of weeks, but he's going to need to bring his A game because last time he went against a very, very elite defensive lineman, he got cooked, and that was Dexter Lawrence. But following that, he's been fantastic. Now, Blake Brandel, he's been good as well. 75.8 overall grade. He's been really good at the left guard spot. So I'm really looking at Bradbury and Ingram if they'll be able to, hang on and slow down Quinnen Williams just a little bit. But this is my favorite matchup of the whole weekend. This is the funniest matchup in my opinion because it is a mismatch. It is Kevin O'Connell versus Bobby Saleh there in New York, and the Vikings are going to win this game because of this matchup. Kevin O'Connell could have who's like a decent college football team who's not great. Kevin O'Connell could have USC this season, and we could go into London and beat the New York Jets because of Robert Saleh being the other head coach. I think this is one of the biggest coaching mismatches we will see in the league this year. I think Saleh is a terrible, overall head coach. I don't think he's a great defensive play caller. And on the opposite hand, Kevin O'Connell, he's a great culture guy. He's a great leader, and he's one of the smartest offensive minds in the league. The Vikings beat the Jets because Kevin O'Connell kicks Robert Saleh's ass in the coaching department. Now, we'll get to 2 more matchups here in a second, but it is getting colder in Minnesota this time of year. And if you guys want to get a Vikings hoodie, click this link, chatsports.com/Vikings hoodie. I'll put that link for you guys in the comment section and description, but they got hoodies up to 50% off right here. So if you guys want to help support the show, get some more Vikings merchandise in your life, chatsports.com/Vikings hoodie. Matchup number 4 for me is Jordan Addison versus DJ Reed. So the Jets don't just have one good corner. They have 2 really, really good corners. Now, I will say when the Jets came to Minnesota a couple of years ago when the Vikings won 13-plus games, DJ Reed had a hell of a game. And I'll give him credit, but that time when he played the Vikings, they didn't have this man right here, Jordan Addison, who, he looked great against the Packers, went for 70-plus yards, found the end zone 2 times. He doesn't have a drop this season, and he's actually been emerging as a big-time deep threat. His ADOT is 17 yards. That's incredible just in terms of how explosive he has been and really what type of routes the Vikings are allowing him to run this season. But he will have a tough matchup with DJ Reed. And DJ Reed's been off to a great start this season. PFF grades him out as an 85.6 overall grade, and his coverage grade is 88.6. But you see this right here, run defense 65.3. Not bad by any means. But let's run at DJ Reed. Let's run at Sauce Gardner. Let's get to the outside. Let's make these corners for New York tackle because I just think they want to cover. I don't think they want to play a physical brand of football. So I'd run a lot of outside zone, get DJ Reed in a hole with Aaron Jones and see if he's having fun in London. But number 5 for me, Stephon Gilmore versus Garrett Wilson. Now, I don't know who's going to get the Garrett Wilson assignment. I'm assuming it's going to be the reason why I think it's Gilmore is I think he's going to run a lot of trail coverage and just have that safety be over the top the entire time. So that's why I think I'm going to lean Gilmore. And plus, Gilmore has been awesome this year. The fact that his run defense grade is 90.6, he has been awesome, stepping up, making plays, but then also in coverage, he's been great. I'm waiting for the Gilmore interception. He's been close a couple of times this season. So, hopefully we'll get it done this Sunday, but definitely a good test, going against Garrett Wilson and crew over there in New York. But if you guys made it to the end of today's show, give me a skull down below in the comment section so I can tell where all the real ones are at. Then also my Twitter, @PatSieps. Give me a follow over there if you guys haven't already, and we will see you guys next time. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, Skol Vikes. Alrighty, over-under. 11.5 wins for this Vikings team this season. You guys let me know. You guys let me know. Oh, you're good, bro. You good. Yeah. Alrighty. Yeah, mailbag coming up. Go for it. Yeah. Go for it. Yeah. Yeah, get those questions in there. # Vikings or Super Chat to get up on the show. Lemon, shout out to you, $5 saying Vikes 5-0. Shout out to Lemon, man. Legend here. As Cha, Mr. Rick saying Detroit could be a big problem. Yeah, I mean, I got some questions on the Lions defense. I mean, Geno Smith was able to go up and down the field on them all Monday night, but their offense is definitely legit. All types of weapons. Yeah, shout out to Lemon. Appreciate you. They got all types of weapons, man. Great offensive coordinator. But I just think the Vikings are the more complete team. Maybe they aren't as good offensively as the Lions, but, the Vikings, when they get their weapons back, when they get Hawk back, like, they're right. They're toe-to-toe with Detroit here. So, Skol TV, I know. Terrion Arnold's the most grabby corner in the league. They need to start calling it. But, yeah, I actually had a dream a couple nights ago. Vikings lost to the Lions in the NFC Championship game in Detroit. If you guys probably shouldn't have told you guys that, but that was the dream I had this past week was NFC Championship game, big time stage, Vikings. I think I had this thought that it's gonna be very similar to the Lions Niners NFC Championship game last year, but we're the Lions. That's a dream I had. Don't yell at me. Yeah, nightmare, not a dream. Yeah, shout out to Eric Mott and Wazazi. Yeah, definitely a nightmare. Rob Simpy saying, geez, you guys only play Detroit twice, and the Seahawks want puff cake schedule. Yeah, I mean, the Detroit games are going to be huge, man. Z2 saying, I've had those, but those dreams are after I drank too much. Yeah. After the watch party, I just started thinking about, man, how good this Vikings team could be. And then I had a dream that they lost in the NFC Championship game to the Lions. Which I'll say this. Obviously, that would suck, like losing in the title game to the Lions. But if that's the result of the season, I mean, we're going to have so many memories, man. I mean, that means we win potentially 1 or 2 playoff games before we get there. Probably 2 if it's in Detroit. So, I do think the Vikings should be really trying to, obviously, this is no duh statement, but really be trying to pull for that 1 seed. Because if you just got to play 1 game at home against the lowest rated team, and then you get a chance to go to the title game, like at home, like then we could be really, really talking about the Vikings winning a Super Bowl this year. But you got to get that 1 seed, man. And I don't think it's too early to start talking about it. Every game matters. Every game's huge. And especially you got the Lions after the bye. Like, if you could somehow start 6-0, a win over the Lions and the Packers already, like, you can really start playing with house money. Z Cool, appreciate you. Good question. Yeah, I don't think it was a whole lot of prevent defense ran in the fourth. I was watching a lot of it. It was more, I think it was more just Jordan Love making plays and just the power of momentum in the league. Like, those games can flip so fast where then the Vikings start playing on their heels a little bit, where I think this defense, just like most defenses, is good when they're pinning their ears back, really trying to get to the quarterback. Yeah, I don't know if it was too much of the play calling. I just think it was the defense just playing on their heels a little more. M Mac saying, how poetic would it be? How M Mac, yes. Vikings play a Super Bowl in New Orleans. That would be very poetic. Old Red saying no bathroom breaks during games, only pee jugs or the Vikings will lose. I don't think you guys want to see that. Is it time to start talking about Jordan Love being a mobile Nick Mullins? JK. Yeah, a little too early for that, School TV. Jordan Love's a hell of a player. Hell of a player. 3, 4 maybe. Yeah. Okay, sweet. We also have the super chats too. Yeah. Yeah, we'll be all right. Yeah, we're going to dive into this mailbag though, real quick. Shout out to all you guys tuning in, man. Great live show, great audience so far. 125 people in the building. That's what's up. Game time. SKOL TV, that's funny though, man. That is good stuff. I also just want to say thank you guys. The support on the channel has been awesome as of late. The videos have been crushing, and it's just cool to see like this Vikings community all really bought in. So yeah, really thank you so much. Z Cool saying, got my McCarthy jersey in, but refused to wear it until he plays. Been supporting the Jefferson jersey and has brought luck. I am literally in the same boat as you, Z Cool. I am not wearing my JJ jersey until he starts. And that could be in like 3-4 years, funny enough. But Peter saying, what's stupid is I almost gave my tickets away. To what game? Yeah, Z Cool. Like, I would love... Like, ideally, I was thinking about this. Long term for the Vikings. Let's just say it is my nightmare scenario. Vikes go to the title game, lose to the Lions. And Darnold plays at an MVP level. He's a clear top 10 quarterback in the league. You know what you do then? You give Darnold a 2-3 year contract extension. He's only 27, 28 years old. You sit JJ for 3 or 4 years. And could you imagine a JJ McCarthy 4 years of just waiting in the reins, working in the weight room, working with O'Connell, like coming out in his first year, he would light it up. So that's what I am hoping happens, where JJ doesn't start until he's 24, 25 years old. Obviously, if something changes, I got faith in the kid to go out there and get it done, but we'll see. We'll see. Tang Yang, thoughts on KOC play calling on short yardage? It's been awful since he got here in 2022. I disagree. I think we all see we all remember the really bad plays on 3rd and short, 4th and short, but also what about the jet sweep call to Jordan Addison? That was a beautiful play design. Like, I feel like he has had moments where he's had very creative plays in 3rd and short, 4th and short. Pat, do me a favor on your way home. Yeah, you want to put that at the end? Yeah, bury that, but yeah, we can get that in there. Mr. Rick saying, Pat, do me a favor on your way home. Buy MG a new Daniel Jones crying towel with this sawbuck. LOL. Yeah. Mr. Rick, you were right on Daniel Jones, but you already knew that about 2 years ago, man. Rough start for the Giants this year, but found to take a positive outlook on this Giants season. Got a franchise left tackle, franchise defensive lineman, franchise wide receiver. Got a solid foundation. You go get the quarterback. Maybe Brian Dable is the elite play caller, but you go get an elite play caller, have him marinate whatever young quarterback, have him kind of sandpaper his game, and I think the Giants will be all right. It may look bleak right now, but I actually said this to Marsh yesterday. I think the Giants are in a better position. Like, who wins the Super Bowl next, Giants or Eagles? I think the Giants are way closer than the Eagles. Yes, the Eagles are closer this year, but I don't think they have a chance to win it. They have a terrible quarterback contract, terrible head coach, terrible defense. That is not going to be successful. So, Mr. Rick, just wait. Just wait on your Giants. They will turn it around, man. They will turn it around. Mark saying, I think JJ would leave if he sat him for 3 years. I disagree. I think JJ is a big team guy. I think he's a big process guy. He's talked about it. I think he would view it as an honor if the Vikings waited on him and allowed him to develop. But I think it'd be the smart call. We'll see, though. We'll see. All right, let's break it down. Mailbag coming up right now. What is my biggest concern for the Vikings heading into this Week 5 matchup with the New York Jets? We're going to talk about it to start today's show, then also second half of today's show. We answer questions from you Vikings fans, as I just love chopping it up with you guys and talking some football. But hey, if you guys don't want the Vikings to lose this weekend, hit that thumbs up icon. If you guys want the Vikings to beat the Jets, I'll put the goal on today's show as 725 likes. Hopefully you guys can crush that out of the ballpark. Hit that thumbs up icon if you guys want the Vikes to move to 5-0 and celebrate a 5th straight Victory Monday. So I was thinking about it. Even though I do think the Vikings are going to dismantle the New York Jets this weekend, my score prediction is 31-6. But you got to play the hypothetical. The Vikings could lose this game because Aaron Rodgers is able to figure out the Vikings defense post-snap. And what's the bread and butter with what Brian Flores likes to do? We can actually toss photos up on screen real quick of what Brian Flores likes to do defensively and why I think having Aaron Rodgers, a great post-snap processor, could be so deadly. Now, we take an example like this, just simple mug look. Vikings got their 7-8 guys lined up on the line of scrimmage. Rodgers has to pick and choose who's coming, but maybe Rodgers sees a tell on a couple of these guys, and he's like, all right, I'm able to figure it out. 7 guys are coming on this play. Boom, ball snapped. Vikings bring the house right here, and, Metellus is causing havoc. Then maybe Rodgers is able to, figure it out and just get the ball out quick to Wilson and Breece Hall. But just want to show you guys a quick example of, maybe why Rodgers would be able to figure it out. Same example here. Vikings, got that typical mug look, got all these guys lined up. Then they all bail at the last second. Rodgers, if any quarterback nowadays is able to figure it out, it's probably him. And, I think the one thing that these younger quarterbacks coming out, they're all way more talented than what they once were 5-10 years ago. But they're not the same processors as these older guys like Rodgers. So that is where I'm a little concerned. But this Vikings defense, if you're able to stop this run game for New York, you should be very successful. So, again, I'm not really too worried about this actually happening, but it is a concern I had in my head. But if you're able to take away the run game, as the Vikings are second in the rushing defense so far, I don't anticipate Rodgers to go light it up and throw for 303, as he hasn't done that in about 2 or 3 years. But there are 2 guys you got to take away. So, Rodgers, he's trying to replicate what he had with Devontae Adams and Garrett Wilson, and it's just not going well. 20 receptions, 191 yards through 4 games for Wilson. That was definitely not the start he thought he was going to have. Only 1 touchdown as well. And then also Breece Hall, 56 carries, 174 yards. The Jets have had no rushing offense, at least consistently, this season. Now, I do have his little heat map from the game against the Denver Broncos, where the Jets were just awful in this game. Only put up 9 points against Denver and ended up losing at home. But you guys see his heat map right here. A lot of it is to the left around the line of scrimmage. And as we know, same guy that was in Green Bay, he loves doing that. Quickly get the ball out fast to his playmakers. I think the Vikings are obviously going to look at this. They're going to press up, get really aggressive, but Rodgers isn't the same guy who's going to start taking chances, and I think the Vikings defense will dominate. I think big takeaway after this game, I said against the Packers, I think our big takeaway is going to be this offense is legit. This is a top 5 offense, no doubt about it. And, I feel pretty confident saying the Vikings prove that. But this weekend, I think the storyline after the game is going to be this Vikings defense just had Rodgers seeing ghost. And I will say this, I haven't mentioned this on a show this week. This is a double revenge game for the Vikings. The New York Jets, do you guys know who they cut? I think it was probably 2005, 2006. They actually cut a quarterback. You know who his name was? It was Kevin O'Connell. You know who they also let go? Who was also a quarterback? who's now quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings? Sam Darnold. Just keep that in mind heading into this weekend. But I'll ask you guys this. Does Aaron Rodgers scare you still? This is not the same A-Rod. This is a older A-Rod who doesn't like to take chances. But you guys let me know. Does Rodgers scare you? Give me a Y for yes or an N for no down below. Question coming in from my man SKOL Nation saying, would you trade for Davante Adams? That answer is no. Pretty simple here. Like, let's just say if Addison, for example, if Addison got suspended for the whole year because of his off-the-field problems this offseason, like, yeah, I would be all in on trading for Davante Adams. But I don't want to trade for him, move Addison to the wide receiver 3 spot, hinders his development, and if the Vikings had a bigger need at receiver, I would be all in. But I'm not giving up the draft capital that necessarily we don't have just to go, put even more icing on the cake. Like, I already feel like the Vikings receiving room is a beautiful cake. It's got all types of icing. It's got the foundation in Jefferson. Davante Adams, you're just putting on more icing. Like, you're already doubling down on a strength for the Minnesota Vikings. So in terms of trading for Davante Adams, I'm saying no. But we'll get some more questions here in a second. But first, I do want to tell you guys about today's presenting sponsor, and that is Game Time. If you guys download Game Time app, use promo code CHATSPORTS. You guys will get $20 off your first purchase. That's promo code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS. And you guys will get $20 off your first purchase. Now, Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Now, my favorite view is the Seats View feature. Get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you even buy. So if you guys are trying to go to the Vikings-Lions game October 20th after the bye, download Game Time, use promo code CHATSPORTS, and you guys will get $20 off your first purchase. One last time, terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It is game time. Link for that is in the comments and description of today's show. Aaron Jones Burner going, what is your record prediction for the Vikings for the rest of the season? I actually did this on a show earlier this week, and I got the Vikings going 14-3. Now, I do want to highlight a couple games that I think the Vikings can lose. And, I think the Vikings, they can win every game this year. I don't think there's a team in the NFL they can't beat. But if there's some games that concern me, it's actually week 8 versus the Rams. Now, the Rams, very depleted because of injuries, but I'm going to assume they will get healthy, get Nakua, get Kupp back, and that game is on a Thursday after the Lions game. The Lions are a very physical football team. It's going to be a very physical game. Then you got to hop on a flight Wednesday, go to LA, play a football game against a very, very smart team. Like, it is going to be very, very tough for this team to bounce back and go play a very well-coached Rams team. So I think that's going to be a tough game. But overall, I think they're going 14-3. I think maybe they lose one game to the Rams or Lions. I think you sweep the Bears, sweep the AFC South. Maybe you drop a game to the Seahawks, Falcons, or Cardinals. But I think it's going to be a 13-14 win year for the Minnesota Vikings. Z Cool, my man, saying, what do you predict we will throw KOC, the biggest extension the NFL has ever seen? Let me look this up real quick. Highest paid coaches in the NFL. I'm assuming Andy Reid will be one, and yes, he is. So Andy Reid, wow, he's getting $25 million. Sean Payton's getting 18, which is incredible. Jim Harbaugh is getting 16. McVay's getting 15. Shanahan 14. Tomlin 12.5, who just got an extension recently. So I'm gonna predict the Vikings probably give O'Connell a 5-year, $70 million deal where it's 70 divided by 5, gets him the 14. That would make him the 5th highest paid coach in the league, on par with Kyle Shanahan at $14 million a year. So that would be my early prediction. But hey, Z Cool, Vikings, they need to keep Brian Flores. Pay Brian Flores like a head coach. Make him the highest paid coordinator in the league. And I think will be good for the next couple of years. But Roger saying, I think the Vikings are undefeated in London. Is that the case? Yes, they are. Actually, heading into this matchup, the Vikings are 3-0 in London. You beat the Browns a while back. You beat the Steelers a while back. And then you also beat the Saints 2 years ago. So, yeah, Vikes are undefeated in London. Hopefully they keep that going. Pretty cool to be like, yeah, we're 4-0 in London. So, Roger, though, I appreciate you for tuning in. Z, what up? saying, when are the Vikings going to throw the prevent defense book out the door and just wreck in all 4 quarters? All right, Z-Cool, I don't mean to dunk on you too much, but I hate this take out there by Vikings fans that they just went prevent in the 4th quarter. You got to think about the Packers touchdowns they had. One of them came the play after a Sam Darnold strip sack, where they just threw the ball quickly out the Tucker Kraft. Vikings corners couldn't tackle. He was able to find the end zone. I don't really think that's Brian Flores' fault. Another one of their touchdowns came. Jalen Naylor tries to catch a punt over his head. They just run a little wheel route to Jaden Reed. Byron Murphy gets dunked on. I don't really think that's on Flores. And then, yes, did they go prevent for that last touchdown drive? 100%. But they were up 31-22, 3 minutes left. Packers only had 1 timeout. You should go prevent in that situation. I'm not going to question Flores, what he does, until I feel a need to question him. So I totally understand what you're saying, Z-Cool. I just think it's kind of a bad take that Vikings fans have had that, like, oh, the defense was so bad in the 4th quarter. It's time to panic. I'm just not really too worried about it. But, and Matt coming in next question saying, I think Grugier Hill has played well enough that Pace shouldn't automatically start. What do you think? Great point. This is something I've thought about. You know, Hill has been awesome filling in for Pace. He's got 2 picks. He's got like 5 PBUs. Like, he's been fantastic. And the only thing I would disagree with you on this is I think Pace impacts the running game so much more than Hill does. And yes, Hill is a better coverage linebacker. Like, that pick he had against Jordan Love was absolutely ridiculous. He just completely pulled off and he was able to intercept the ball. So, yeah, I see what you're saying, but I still think Pace, deserves it. But Tang Yang coming in saying, thoughts on KOC playing calling on short yardage? It's been awful since he got here in 2022. I agree. Like, if there has been one thing that I disagree or have had a problem with O'Connell is his short yard play calling, as I think he does get too cute in spots, but also he's had good moments. Like, he's had beautifully designed plays on 3rd and short, 4th and short. But I think just us Vikings fans, we just always, get a little too critical. And also, like, if you're talking about that Jalen Naylor, it was Naylor. 4th and 1 jet sweep to him. Naylor should have got that first down. Kevin O'Connell gave him a chance. That was more on the execution rather than the play call. But my man, Mr. Rick Cha, saying, Pat, do me a favor. And on your way home, buy MG. Marshall Green hosts the Giants now. And new Daniel Jones crying towel with this Sawbuck. LOL. I would do that. I will connect this back to the Vikings, Mr. Rick. You want to know the only team that has had a lead over the Vikings so far this season? It's the New York Giants. Just saying, Mr. Rick. But hey, I appreciate you sending $10 to get on the show. But you guys let me know. Close it out with this. Over, under, 11.5 wins for our Vikings team. Give me an O for over or a U for under down below in the comments section. And also give me a follow on Twitter. That's the handle right there at Pat Sieps. Give me a follow over there. Give you guys a follow right back. But we'll see you guys next time. As always, SKOL Vikes. Rob Jigga saying, hey, did I super chat too? Yes, you did. Saying, Sieps, what's up, man? Go Vikings Sunday. Jets will end up beating themselves again. Rob, I couldn't agree more. Rob, I absolutely love this matchup for the Vikings. I think this is the biggest coaching mismatch we are going to see in the NFL this season. It's honestly both sides of football. Like, Flores going against Hackett. Are you kidding me? And then O'Connell going against Robert Saleh. Are you kidding me? Right now, we only got 100 people watching. I'm not going to promote gambling too much here, but the Vikings are favored by 2.5. No, you just take the Vikings. If they win this, even if it's 23-20, you are going to win this. You're going to cover that spread. I think the spread is ridiculous. I think Vegas is a step behind on how good the Vikings are and how bad the Jets are. I mean, going into the year, the Jets were favored by 3.5. I just don't think Vegas wanted to say, hey, we were so wrong about this line before the year, and we still have to favor the Vikings or else we would lose a ton of money. But I almost think Vegas is almost saying to, like, all the bettors out there, like, we're going to put this at 2.5, try to get some people to, bet on the Jets because, if you look at the line, you're like, why are the Jets only 2.5-point underdogs? I don't care. You hammer the Vikings this weekend. Put whatever you own on them. Vikings are gonna win this football game on Sunday. But yeah, Tang Yang, the pumpkin watch will never happen though. It will never happen. But guys, we're gonna hop on out of here. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Great live show, great content we talked about. So thank you guys so much. But I will see you guys next time. We'll be live 7:30 in the morning. My guy Tex and I will be live 7:30 in the morning. We're gonna be in the studio at like 6:30, so it's gonna be an early day. It's gonna be a lot of fun, man. So see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching. Skol Vikes, baby.